again, thank you so much, everyone. Good day and advanced TGIF for you guys. A Okay, so by the way, today I'll be sharing with you 5 SEO hacks you probably didn't know about, and this is just a little bit about myself, right? So, yeah. Okay, so a little bit about myself. 7 years in the industry, been around for done a little bit about brand communications, done a little bit about web design, graphic design, and well, I am the CEO of 3D Brand Agency. So, what is 3D Brand Agency all about? So, yeah, sorry, experiencing a little bit of lag here. Okay, so today, what I'll be sharing with you will be as mentioned before, picking the right keywords in under 10 seconds. Sounds impossible, right? Nah, you just probably have not uh, gotten the right platforms to use. For hack number two, what we'll be sharing with you is some of the free tools available for you to enhance your Google dominance. Number three, how to stay active without being active. Hmm, sounds like a clickbait. Well, you'll be surprised on what we have to share. As for SEO hack number four, speeding up for optimum user experience. And for number five, lastly, I'll be sharing with you some of the omnichannel approach and how you can be everywhere for your business, right? So without further ado, let's begin. So a little bit about us, 3D Brand Agency. We are a pre-approved productivity solutions grant vendor and initiative by Enterprise Singapore and IMDA. So aside from providing brand and marketing services, we also leverage on the PSG solutions, productivity solutions grant to provide e-commerce solutions for our customers. This e-commerce solution actually enables you to leverage on popular online marketplaces such as Shopee, Lazada, and Q10. We are also a partner for M1, SGTech, HitPay, and WorldFirst. So, why speak on SEO? If you were to search for brand agency, a short tail keyword on Google Chrome, you will see that we are ranked number one for said keyword. So today I'll be sharing with you on some of the strategies on how we actually utilize some of these platforms to achieve this ranking. And of course, our journey has never been smooth sailing. I'm sure everyone has their own journeys as well, right? So for the first 3 months of our launch, with the SEO strategies that we've implemented, we've actually achieved more than $150,000 in the first 3 months with $0 ad spend. Today, I'll be sharing with you on how we implement these strategies to achieve these goals. Okay, 150,000 may not be a lot for some of you, but considering there are $0 ad spend on this, I believe this can add to your marketing as well. and improve your marketing efficiency and marketing. So what's the difference? Okay, first and foremost, I have always been experiencing a lot of questions by our customers. They seem to, how would I say, confuse SEO and SEM. There's always SEO and SEM seems to be interchangeable between our customers. And of course, I do not fault them in this because, of course, they are not fully, how would I say, fully, they're not in that marketing space, right? So without further ado, basically, I'll just, in essence, SEO is basically the organic approach you use to utilize, say, search engine platforms like Google, and probably some of you will are also using Internet Explorer, right? So it's basically the organic way to get traffic to your website, while SEM is basically the paid ads. You paying Google or you paying Yahoo, for example, to get traffic to your website. So of course, each of these has their own benefits, right? So for example, SEO, the number one benefit of SEO is, of course, you pay nothing. And your ad or your listing will be shown to everyone who searched for those keywords, right? Of course, it will take some time, but it has a pretty high click-through rates as compared to SEM. And it improves, of course, your brand loyalty. And now we go to SEM, or search engine marketing, right? So again, some of the benefits, as you can see, are, of course, you pay only for the clicks that you get. If you would like to target very specific audiences, SEM is surely the way to go. And unlike SEO, which takes time, probably around 3 to 6 months, the effects of SEM, or search engine marketing, is pretty immediate. So you can see results right away, almost right away, right? Of course, in relative to SEO, your click-through rates are significantly lower, I would say. But this SEM can increase your sales speeds or sales conversions significantly. So ultimately, why we use SEO is for long-term, to improve our marketing efficiency and reduce your marketing budget and reach a wider audience, of course, right? For SEM, it's pretty short-term, but we're looking at immediate effects. So these are some of the differences between SEO and SEM. Also, one more thing, SEO is basically you doing stuff to your website, to your landing pages, to ensure that you rank higher on Google. Well, for SEM, you're actually utilizing Google's Google Ads, for example. You're paying Google Ads to divert or create traffic from search engines like Google, like Yahoo, and others. Okay, so without further ado, this is my favorite hack, one of my favorite hacks, the answer the public. I'm not sure, probably some of you may have heard of it, but apparently it's so underrated. Answer the public is very, very underrated. Why? Because what it does, right, is it actually allows you to discover search phrases that people are actually searching for, your target audiences are actually searching for, right? Because I've seen a lot of my customers, what they do is they create blog contents just for the sake of creating blog contents with no real strategy behind it. So, for example, they'll be creating blog contents on, say, product features, product launches, or these kind of likes. But they are actually not targeting the searches that people were actually searching for, their target audience are actually searching for. So what do I mean by that? Why not we take a look at Answer the Public? So just go to answerthepublic.com and hang on, yeah, let me show you. So this is how it kind of looks like for Answer the Public. So first, of course, you have to search for your target demographic. Where are they located? So for us, we'd say Singapore, right? And you can keep this to English, or you can choose whatever language you choose, you please. And for the keyword, for example, say you're selling t-shirts, right? So just click on search, and they will actually show you some of the most searched keywords based on your keyword, t-shirts. So it will map out basically the whole, let's see if, yep, that is under 10 seconds, I guessing. So for example, so these are some of the content ideas that you can actually implement on your blogs to get more traffic to your website or to your landing pages or to your product pages, right? Things like, for example, the ones you see here with the green, uh, the green highlight here. These are some of the things that are getting high search volumes for. So why, for example, why t-shirts are shrinking? Or, for example, what shirts go with cargo pants? So if you can actually cater to these questions that people are actually searching for, then you can actually get a chunk of the traffic diverted to your blog instead of just creating blogs that blindly target pretty much everything with no specifics. So this can give you an idea on how you can actually create blog content that actually gets conversions or that actually gets hits to your website, right? So, and what I do, right, for longevity of the blogs. So say I create a content which uses this as a header. Can shirts be tailored? I'd also add things like either the target country in Singapore, or if it makes sense, right? I will also add things like dates. For example, can t-shirts be tailored in 2021 in Singapore? Something along those lines. So for consecutive years, you can actually recycle these blocks and instead just change the dates. So the thing is, because you have to understand, Google will search and show the most recent, the most relevant of topics to the target audiences. So by doing that, you can actually keep getting hits instead of losing hits to newer, more relevant contents. So, yep, that is SEO hack number 1. Feel free to ask me anything if you have any questions. Next, let us go to the next one, which is using free platforms to boost SEO. So these other platforms, Google Search Console and Google My Business, they are also being relatively underrated, because if you want to rank high on Google, of course, you're going to make use of course, they're going to require you to use Google's platforms and tools. So by utilizing these different platforms, for example, what is a Google Search Console, you may ask? So it's basically a tool that provides you insights to help site owners, website owners, improve visibility and presence in their search engine results pages. As for Google My Business, it's basically a Google standout for free. It enables you to stand out on Google for free and turn your search traffic into customers. So those who are actually around the area, and say, for example, they're looking for a printing shop, right? Chances are they will be searching or going to printing shops that are near where they are at. So that's where Google My Business comes in, right? So aside from listings on the search engine results page, you can have an additional listing by way of the Google My Business to enhance or increase your conversion rates and hits to your website. So how do we set up and verify on Google Search Console? So, and what is Google Search Console? Basically, when you were to log in on Google Search Console, they would ask you, what is your website? So, of course, you have to create a website first, naturally, and then share the domain with Google Search Console. So what it does is it will require you to verify your website. It'll take a while. But with this, you can potentially increase your traffic by up to 28%. So how it works is, in layman terms, you're actually telling Google, hey, Google, I have a new website. So come and take a look. So Google will send all these web crawlers. It's like little robots to search and crawl your website. So this, if it makes sense, they will then showcase or list your website according to relevance, of course, on the results page. So of course, with you having this Google crawlers crawling your website, it will also increase Google's confidence in your website, and basically tell Google, if you're active enough, if you make enough changes every now and then, it will tell Google, hey, maybe this website actually has some good contents, and it will actually show these contents to relevant to target audiences, provided, of course, the different SEO strategies are implemented on-page SEO strategies are implemented on your website. Things like, of course, your SEO headers. It has to be specific to the landing pages. Of course, you have to implement proper metadata, proper headers, proper keywords on your website for this to work, right? So once you've verified your ownership of the website, you'll then enjoy the full benefits of increased traffic, free traffic. Next, we have the listing your site on Google My Business. So why list it on Google My Business? Of course, like I've mentioned previously, it will show up on Google Map searches. It will rank high in search engine results page, and it will of course also earn trust from customers because you have this little thing called a reviews, photos, where your potential customers can actually take a look at your reviews, take a look at your testimonials before they even make a purchase, right? So this will enhance their confidence in your brand. And of course, in today's day and age, how customers or consumers are spending online is they will take a look at your Facebook page, they will take a look at everywhere else before they make a purchase, they will make informed decisions. Everyone is way smarter now, buyers are way smarter now. So before they actually decide on where to spend their money, if chances are have already done a thorough research on you and your products, right? So what better way to showcase your products and reviews and testimonials than listing it on Google My Business, right? So yeah, that is SEO hack number 2. Next, being active without being active. Okay, I must admit, this is kind of a clickbait, right? But hear me out. Being active, there's this little thing called active SEO, whereby it is the act of going outside of your site to build other websites. It can be blogs, informative sites, or it can be infographics where you actually influence other sites and links, directories, and make them point them back at you. So so that's it. For example, say this is the SEO, the active SEO process. So for example, you can take a look at, you can refer back to SEO hack number 1, where you can actually find a short tail or keywords or key phrase related to your products or services, right? So, and step 2, of course, will be buying a domain from a web hosting provider. For example, exabytes. So next step will be to build a blog and pointing said blog on your domain name. And the next step will be to populate that blog with a related content and implement hack number 2. So if you can remember what hack number 2 is, that will be to inform Google by way of a Google Search Console, right? To let them know that you have a new website up. So Finally, you can then create a backlink or call to action that points back to your main site or your main product page. So what it does is it builds backlinks to your main site, which of course will tell Google that, hey, all these other sites are backlinking back to your site. So your main site, your product page, has to be somewhat of relevance. So if you have you've got a lot of backlinks pointing back to your main site, this will of course tell Google that it's reliable, it's relevant, and that will allow them to push your website ranking up further. Right. So for example, let's go take a step back. Right. How is the process like? Say for example, you're selling say t-shirts, right? And in the last example, okay, so can you show a real life example that uses this active SEO process? Sure, I can show you. This is what I did for our business. Let's see if I got that right. Yep. So for our business, of course, we do have we work with different partners. We work with different grants. We enable our customers to leverage on different grants to basically offset some of the costs of our services. So this is one such grant, or I wouldn't say a grant, but it's more of a digital bonus. It's a bonus. It's an additional top up to these grants. And what we did is we actually bought the domain name Digital Resilience Bonus and actually do up an informative site to create or to create a site that backlinks back to the website. So yeah, it has all the different elements, all the different information on what it's about. And with this call to action right here, say for example, if they need our service, they will then click on this, which links back to our website, right? So this is one way to go about. And if you're saying how effective is this strategy, I'd say it's pretty effective. For example, we actually, with this strategy, we actually got contacted by IMDA because they wanted us to take down the site because this is a real life example, by the way. Because back then we were not a PSG vendor or productivity solutions front vendor, so they wouldn't want us to misrepresent the information. But we managed to negotiate with them, and after our actual PSG license was granted to us, we managed to reinstate this website back to us. So yeah, IMD and Enterprise Singapore actually got hold of us thanks to this site. And this is one real life example of how you can use an active SEO to build on your website.
Hey, Fi, just interject here. We're running a little bit short on time, so if you could wrap things up in the next 2 to 3 minutes, that would be great.
Will do, will do.
All right, thanks.
Alrighty. So that is the active SEO process for you. Next, is SEO hack number 4, which is speeding up for optimum user experience, right? So got a lot of questions asking me, how does load speed affect SEO? It has a lot of impact for your website, by the way, because if you take a look at, say, for example, from a user's perspective, right? Say, for me, I have little patience. So if I were to take a look at a website, which takes more than, I don't know, 3 to 5 seconds to load, I probably close the browser and search for another listing, right? Because that's just how it is. I'm spoiled for choice, right? So if your website loads super slowly, you're actually losing out a lot on sales. So how can you be more effective, or how can you improve on load speed, you ask? The easiest way, of course, is to choose a hosting closest to your audience. So, for example, a exabyte has a server that is located in Singapore, right? So, if you were to use another hosting provider that has servers in US, for example, right? Your data have to actually travel from the data center in US to a nearer data center, say for example, Europe, right? And then actually traveling from Europe all the way to your audience in Singapore. Think of it like a really fast aircraft that flies from US to Europe and then to Singapore just to serve you coffee, right? Not sure if that makes sense, but yeah. So basically, it will take a while. If it's traveling from that far out, it will take a while. So it's best to, of course, have a data center that hosts your website and where you can actually serve that data on your website closer to your audience. So to basically load, it'll take a less latency to basically move that data from its origin to its destination. Origin being your web server hosting to the destination, which is your audience, your customers, your prospects. Another way, of course, is to use a CDN, Cloud Delivery Network. For us, we use Cloudflare because it's free, right? And it's also one of the best, most secure CDNs available. Another alternative will be AWS or Amazon. So, yep, that's one way to to reduce your page load speed. Finally, being everywhere, we call it the omnichannel approach, right? So, of course, now with how COVID has impacted everyone and making everyone change their spending habits, right? Everyone is spending on everywhere but on retail. As in, most of the spending is done online. right? From Shopee to Lazada to Q10, mostly Shopee and Lazada because they've been doing a lot of marketing these days. So just to give you an idea of how much traffic you're actually the potential traffic from Shopee or Lazada, potential customers, we are looking at um, close to 26 million per month in traffic from Shopee, Lazada, and Q10 collectively. So that's a lot of customers, potential customers. So of course, you should always be everywhere your customers are. So go create an account on Shopee, Lazada, Q10, and yep, be where your customers are. That's the our omnichannel approach. So, okay, this is the part where we actually sell our services. Now that you're on Shopee, Lazada, Q10, even say Amazon or wherever, right? You need an e-commerce hub that actually synchronizes all the different prices, inventory, etc., because you can't always be on Shopee, on Lazada, on Q10, going around just to check on your sales orders, inventories, stocks, SKUs, right? So what we provide is an e-commerce solution, an online store that actually synchronizes all these prices, inventories from your online store on Shopee, Lazada, and Q10. So you don't actually have to go to Shopee, to Lazada, to Q10 to fulfill these orders. And it comes with an 80% grant support. So hey, why not? If you're looking to revamp your website, do check us out. So that's pretty much it. Thanks. Any more questions?
We actually do have questions. They're in the Q&A box, but we don't have time for that, unfortunately. And our next speaker actually has to leave earlier for his set. So we have to wrap things up right now. But Fai, if you could answer those once I let you off, that would be great. All you do is just click on the Q&A button and type in your answer. But till then, I'd like to thank you for your time here at the SME Digital Fest 2021. Yeah, thank you so much for your input and insight. Bye, Fai. You take care now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.